usual option activity as defined by our heat seeker algorithm. So if you'd like to jump in, come on in, the water's fine. And I will now detail for you all of those that met our stringent criteria. Beginning with, of course, our lead slide of 3 at 3, which is bang. It's 11/11. It is Veterans Day, and I am Jon Najarian. The disclaimer says that this is for educational and informational purposes only, and all investments involve risk. Before you decide to act on anything I'm about to describe, please understand that options are a wasting asset. You need to understand how they work before you trade them. Intellectual property rights. Yes, we have registered marks, trademarks, patents, copyright on almost everything you're about to see. So please, before you use it, give us a little question, send us a text, just basically request permission and we'll grant it. Thank you. Veterans Day, 11/11/2020. Thank you to all the men and women who have served or are serving in our military. We appreciate your service. Thank you. We can never thank you enough, in fact. But thank you very much, and we look forward to having most of you enjoy a very happy Thanksgiving with your families. And for those of you overseas, thank you again for your service and sacrifice. All right, let's take a look at Host, HST, Host, 11/11/2020 at 2:54 p.m., So going into the final hour of trade, we note that there are 10,000 of the December 15 calls that were bought for 15 cents. Since every option is for 100 shares, that means 10,000 options is a million share equivalent, which means that a 15-cent option is $15. Again, you move that decimal point 2 over to the side, and that means that a 10 lot costs you $150, folks. $150, you can control 1,000 shares of this stock. 1,000 shares would cost you $12,820 to control. But with options that expire the third Friday in December, you could control that same 1,000 shares from 15 to infinity and beyond for just $150. So keep an eye on that. Longtime viewers of 3 at 3 know that I am far more likely to buy something at the money, the 1250s or the 13s, and sell a higher strike against it because I like moving the odds into my favor by doing that. Here is a graph of Host. There you see from the 6th last Friday when it bled off to about $10.50 to the opening Monday the 9th, where it exploded up to $14 on the great news of that vaccine by Pfizer and BioPoint NT, and then hovers around the 13 handle since then. So these were people who wanted to own it at the 15 strike. I am, like I say, far more likely to be long by the time this broadcast is over. I'm sure I will be in the call spread rather than those options naked. If you would like to learn more about what we do at Market Rebellion, you can go to marketrebellion.com/get started. You could also go there and learn about our new crypto trading room. It's in beta right now. We're in the App Store. You could check it out, and you can see it at marketrebellion.com/crypto, CRYPTO, crypto. Second trade of our 3 at 3 is Dropbox. With Dropbox at approximately 1877, they were buying the at-the-money calls, the 19 calls in December. They bought 5,100 of those. That's 510,000 share equivalent. They paid $80 because 80 cents for 100 shares, move that decimal point, is $80 to $95 for each and every one of these options that they bought. So if you're an option buyer and you run along with them, $80 gets you 100 shares. If you want 1,000 shares, that's $800. If you're like me and you trade bigger than that, then for instance, a 100 lot would be, that's right, $8,000. So $80 for 100 shares, $800 for 1,000 shares, and for 10,000 share equivalent, you'd be more in the $8,000 category. All right, there is a graph. It is still at approximately the same level, 1877, as when we cited it earlier. And there you see Dropbox coming down with some of those tech stocks that struggled over the past 5 days, and then making its way back from 18 to about 1872 at our mid-session. All right, let's get to the third of our 3 at 3 right now. That is SPY, SPY, the S&P 500 ETF. So they bought 241,000 of those December 300 puts. Now, that is an immense trade, my friends. Huge trade. They did it about halfway through the halftime report. Maybe those guys were talking bearish. I don't know. But as you see, they also sold the 290 puts. So what they did was they created a spread. They would have the right to sell the stock all the way to zero from the 300 strike down. But then they gave somebody else the right to push stock into their account at the 290 strike. This is what's known as a put spread, a put vertical spread. So it's a bearish trade. That's why we say in that red writing on the screen, bearish put spread. Now, they paid, let's say, 99 cents and collected 57 cents. So you get the idea. In rough terms, they paid 40 cents for something that could go to $10. So if you paid $40 for something that could go to 1,000, you guys know the kind of leverage you have. Very nice leverage in this one, much bigger than 10 to 1, more like 20 to 1 leverage on this one. This would be something typically we would see somebody who has the desire to have some protection in place, just in case. And they have it all the way out till December expiration. So I am not straight out saying that I believe that somebody bought 241,000 of these puts, or 24 million share equivalent of selling pressure. And then, of course, somebody else has the right to push shares to them at 290. I think this is more likely a hedge, but it's good to know that somebody wanted a big hedge on, and they wanted it on today. For that reason, we cite it for you. Here is a graph of the SPY, and as you see, the SPY was 332 last week. The day after the election, it was 332. Now it's 355. They are buying it at the 300 strike and by giving protection to somebody else at the 290 strike. So with that said, you can see that the S&P has rallied about 6.4% since the past 5 days. And that means to us that somebody is very likely putting on a spread to cut the risk down in their portfolio. If you'd like to learn more about what we do, you can go on over to marketrebellion.com/UOA. That is marketrebellion.com/UOA for unusual option activity. We've got a video going up because next week, maybe even this week, we'll start experimenting with questions at the end of these broadcasts, all of them that are live. And even if you watch these on the replay later on, well, somebody else might be asking a question that you wanted answered as well. So keep that in mind. At the end of 3 at 3, we will start answering your questions very soon. So start keying up those questions now. Thank you, folks. I will say adios. We'll see you tomorrow. And I'll be on the halftime report, so make sure